Your Excellency, I was directed by Mr. President to tour the roads within Niger Delta, within the south-south region of this country. Mr. President, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a man that God sent as our last chance to reset this country. And he doesn't believe in hearsay evidence. He wants an evidence that is evidence that are facts-based. And there is no way, as the Minister for Works, I would have believed the stories about the plight of the people of Niger Delta if I didn't be on the road myself. Between Abuja, Lokoja, to those states, I was on that road for 14 hours. Not because I was doing something else, but because the roads are very bad. Incidentally, the roads from Abuja to Edo have all been awarded. Work is ongoing in all the stretch of the roads, but the contractors have failed to maintain the stretch within their contracts, and that is not acceptable. There is no way you go outside this country, you will see the people being inconvenienced while road construction or any other form of infrastructure is going on. And so I've reinstated that culture which is within our professional ethics. Now, why you take on 50 kilometers of route, while you engage in the first 1 or 2, 3 kilometers, you must make sure that the rest are motorable. And from Edo State to Warri, the story is the same. But the truth remains that the method of construction is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. In most of these roads, we have new virgin roads being curated. Most of these contractors don't have sheet foot rollers. They may answer big names, but the method of construction is not acceptable. If we do audit of the bid documents, we begin to inquire whether the number of equipment they quoted that they will deploy on the job, whether they ever deployed even 10% of it. I've directed also that any contractor that doesn't have sheet foot roller should not be allowed to work. And none of our earthwork should be engaged in terms of putting stone base or pavement without allowing vehicles to be on that earthwork for 30 days. Then you load your whatever layers you are loading. By the moment you come to stone base, expose it to vehicles. By the time we allow between the subgrade and the sub-base and the base course, 60 days, there is nothing that can compact these layers as good as vehicles. And this is when we can compaction test on the subgrade and do the same thing on the base course. This is one of the reasons for the failure of our roads. The next one is that the bitumen being given to us are quite adulterated. And that's why you see all manners of engagement. They are putting a bitumen modifier, stimulator, all kinds. But if you look at the bitumen we had in the 60s and 70s, you can't compare it. The roads we are building in this country, especially in the southern part of this country, where the rains are much and the water table is high, it's likened to a woman that has a lot of pancake on her face, well beautified, and you engage. And in the night, the woman needed to wash her face. And you begin to ask the woman, who is this? Who is this? You see this road so beautiful. decorated with road marks. Give it 3 years, they will collapse. I assure you of that. Don't worry about the names that is being offered. When you have these big names and they have jobs in more than 10 different locations all over the country, how will they perform? There are some companies that have jobs 100 kilometers, 150 kilometers in more than 10 states. And nobody is engaging to put inquiry in the number of equipment that are used in our method of construction. Another one is that we have failed to supervise these projects. And that's why I'm telling the governors through their commissioners to get involved. Because the contractors are not the people that are using the roads. They finish, some of them, they even vamoose to their countries. Let us insist that the right thing be done. Let us insist that the right method of construction is done. Let us not be cowed or blackmailed. We went to the same school. The color of the skin should not matter. Your Excellency, I bring good information from Mr. President. He has directed me to use reinforced concrete technology. It is happening in Singapore, that has the greatest GDP. It's happening in India. India, in their route, HDMI, that is a Highway Development and Management Initiative. They have over $20 billion dollar savings. Their roads are concrete. I've directed all the roads to be redesigned on reinforced concrete. And they will tell you it's more expensive. Well, we shall see how expensive it is. The taste of the food is in the eating. Let us see how expensive it is compared to asphalt. Moreover, we have a lot of geometric progression of our asphalt cost. It dances with the dollar. It dances with the dynamic and volatile cost of international oil prices. Today the oil price is about 97. The contractors will keep saying they're claiming VOP, variation of price. But reinforced concrete is almost local content based. It is very good where our water water table is high. The concrete is friendly. In fact, the strength of the concrete increases with time and with water. It has no limit. When you plot the graph of the age of concrete against the strength, it continues. And you see the graph, they tell you it tends to infinity if you have the right quality concrete. And this is what we are doing, Your Excellency. I don't know how you managed it. Was it when you were in the Senate? You have more roads than the entire South is put together, federal roads. I don't know how you did it. Your Excellency, you have dualization of Odupani to Itu Road. The section 1 is 21.9 kilometers. It's done by Julius Beja. And of course, the stretch of the road, this is your own end. The other end stems from Akwa Ibom, being done by CCACCC. Yeah. Beautiful work again, but you have agreed that they must use concrete. And they have agreed. And so section 2, they have done 5.5 kilometers. Section 2 is 28 kilometers, 9.2. And that is from Okuiboko power plant to Itu. It's done by Samatec. Incidentally, Samatec is an indigenous contractor. From what I saw he did, he's doing a very beautiful job.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know him. I stopped one of his jobs, the payment in Abuja, because I said I must visit the site to see how the increment happened. And tomorrow I will visit the site. But even before visiting the site, I'm very satisfied with what you are doing.
Thank you, sir.
But I want you to know that all asphalt road is a matter of time. We fail. But there is a construction method you are adopting, which is in tandem with our policy. you are putting sharp sand, you are removing the mud, and then to the stable base. Then you first of all load with lumps, and then you feed with sharp sand. And when you get into the top, you now feed with lumps again and put stone base, and vehicles are going on it. Nothing will happen to the road. All we need to do is to retain the sharp sand wherever you feel it with a toe beam. I saw the bridges you're building, and I want anybody to go and check it with any of the international companies. If your job is not good, I will tell you it's not good. I had to tell an international company that the road failed somewhere along this West Road, that he will replace it with his money. And it's only God Almighty or Mr. President that can change that policy. So they finish, they must go and do that. So this is very important. We put our feet down and let us share responsibilities. The contractors have their responsibility, we have ours. We cannot take their mistakes and we'll be paying for it. And that is what has been happening. But it will not happen again, Your Excellency. So 9.2 kilometers has been done. The rest has to be on concrete. And he has agreed with me, he has redesigned, we are going to look at it, and we shall see it. And I've told them when this beautiful concrete roads start coming, put President Bola Ahmed Tinubu picture at the signboard so that Nigeria will know that is a divine president and is going to reset this country. And so we have section 2, Your Excellency, Odo-Pani, junction to Apit Central section of Calabar, Ekom Ogoja Road. And that's the one we are going to see tomorrow. I refuse to pay him. I say I must see it. 75 kilometers, 20 kilometers is said to have been done. The balance will be done on concrete. And this is very important. And the last is rehabilitation of Alese Uge Road. It's been completed. I will inspect it also tomorrow. It's 67.1 kilometers. Your Excellency, you must tell me how this thing came about. Even Rivers is not having this number. Bayelsa is not having. This is the highest in the Niger Delta. So I want to commend you. And let me also inform you that we want the state governors to direct their commissioners to get involved in supervising what the FEMA people are doing. I'm a witness that FEMA people, I saw roads they came to claim they did when I was governor. And they could not prove it because I was the one maintaining the roads. The one awarded by Minister of Works, they couldn't prove it because I was the one building the road. And so it is important that, we have, second witness to our jobs. Let the commissioners get involved to know whether, repairing the roads. And when we have built, and of course you should be part of it, you have been part of going round. The intention of government is to get this road to be done. And so it is our responsibility to ensure that the money government is paying, that is, they are not paying it for nothing. This is very important. And so I want to commend you as you're settling down. So much work to do. And it's important, Your Excellency, that I introduce you to one of our programs, the PPP programs, which I had said earlier on, HDMI. And that is Highway Development, Management Initiative. This is built on 2 platforms. We have the greenfield, we have the brownfield. Greenfield, Your Excellency, every state government is a corporate, entity. And so corporate bodies are allowed to become investors and they partner with federal government. And the greenfield is about getting the federal roads to reconstruct it. And we agree on tolling. So we're in partnership until you recover your money. The brownfield is like the ones we are building. A state government may want to come in, to have the road concessions, and the state government will take it, toll it, put service stations, lit up the road, ensure there is CCTV camera to watch over the roads, and then we recover his money in terms of the the additional road architecture you're bringing in, and then we share profit. This is very important. And it's important to commend you, Your Excellency, for your interventions in our federal roads. These federal roads are for your economic activities. If you cannot move from one state to the other, it's the state that is suffering, because you cannot revolutionize your economic activity just within the state. You need the interstate, connection for your business to go on. Lastly, sir, we have a lot of issues of compensation. That is also holding a lot of the roads. Luckily, I've also discussed with the contractors on how we can minimize, so much encroachment. Where that dualizing, they should come to the center of the existing roads, and then let the center become the center of the median. So we now build from left, we build from right. That will minimize a lot. And again, there is gain in it, in the sense that the entire sections of the shoulders are already stable. So it means that our carriageway boats will be built on already stabilized, subgrade. This is very important, but it is important, sir, that as they do set out based on the new directives, that the state government do please come in. The last administration passes as a policy because of the burden on them, and I appeal to state governments to please do the enumeration of encroachments and do the compensation while we fund the road project. I did mine when I was governor, and I think it's the right thing to do. But we will not impose the cost on you. You have to use your own people to determine the cost. The rate I had in my state for compensation, the rate was different from that of federal government. And so I say that the federal government should apply their own rate in their own place. Let me apply my own rate in my own state. And that's what I advise state governors to do. We shouldn't have anything to say we are bringing a consultant to come and reap where they did not sow. So, Your Excellency, I want to thank you very much for insisting that we must come and give you account of the federal presence. Now you've been overwhelmed with the number of jobs, but I can assure you, sir, that it's going to be well. When we finish the jobs, Mr. President is very much determined to finish the job. Thank you again, and my prayer is that God will sustain you. And anybody that is distracting you and say is going to God should know that power and might belongs to God. And you've settled down, That seat is for 8 years in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.